Hey everybody, Jordan here just to say a little something before the episode starts. At the end of the episode, two of the characters get into a very heated argument, and I just want to let you all know as the audience that we, the actors, the players, we're all fine and good with each other. We talk about it anytime something like that happens after the episode, just to make sure that we're all good and safe and on the same page. Just so you know, so you're comfortable, so you can let yourself get immersed in the story. It's just the characters that are mad at each other, not us. We all love each other very much, and we all love you. So with that, let's get on to episode 48.
Hello, we are the Dice Jailers, our continuing campaign. Welcome back. The music you will hear during this brought to you by Sirenscape. They are awesome, they are wonderful, and they let you use their stuff for free, or you can pay them, like I do, to have access to more things. That's basically what you get when you give them money. They say, here's more stuff. But yeah, Sirenscape, they are awesome. One of the best ways to add music to your game. And I can finally mention a thing that I want to talk about for a while. One of our friends, Save the D8, we talk about them a lot. They had me in for a 4-episode session to be a guest DM for them. And that adventure takes place in the same world as our campaign. So they're actually on the opposite end of the Whispering Wood from where you guys all are right now, and it's shit happening at the exact same time. So there'll be an NPC they ran into that you guys will eventually run into, and it'll be referred to a little bit. But it was fun. They were so cool, and I hope I get to work with them again, because what a fun game to get to run. So yeah, first episode on that. My arc just came out this week, and I'm giddy about it. It's great. Jordan, what do you got, and what about the rest of our friends?
That brings us to, our regular friend shout-outs. No Latency, Save the D8, again, Antiheroes Anonymous, Smoking Glue Guns, the Dias Cast Gaming, Ugly Radio. Trying to remember everybody. I should just write down a list, but I will never write a thing down. I don't have any other big announcements because I've realized that my next big announcement thing I can't announce till like October. Yeah. So that brings us
you've
to...
been teasing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I would like to shout out my friend Jamie, and only Jamie today. Shout out to Jamie.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well deserved.
Shout out to the Jamie announcement.
Oh, good. Hi, guys. Much like Jordan, I have also not written anything down, nor am I likely to ever write anything down. And usually, while they're doing their first part, I kind of think of something and an idea comes to me, but that hasn't happened today. I got nothing. So what I'm going to do is try to ignore all these pop-ups that they're trying to distract me with because they're bastards. And just direct your attention over to this side of the screen where you can see this lovely card that Jordan has placed that directs you to... Sorry, I just got distracted, damn. Ko-fi.com/dicejailers, where you can go and send us actual human monies that we would probably use... Well, we've already said we would use it first. It's earmarked for character portraits, which would be awesome. And then I assume the next thing would be that we all get the, whatever it's called, deluxe, hydro, whatever, so that not only can there be, these emojis popping up, I think you can make them like tile and bounce across your screen and stuff. And just think how much more effective it would be to mess with my ADHD to have it...
Jesus Christ.
I want you all to know that if for those of you who do not know this, Bjorn and I in real life are married, so what you just witnessed was spousal abuse.
That wasn't me.
That was Phoenix.
Oh, I should have known.
That was our very own Sam Riegel.
Damn it. I should have known. That's my bad. I beg your pardon. All the puns that you witness regularly are spousal abuse. That was...
Jamie is constantly taking psychic damage.
Yes.
The only reason I don't use yakety sax is because it's copyrighted.
And you want to sleep in your bed ever again.
I can't.
You cannot even.
Okay, scratch everything. Y'all send money.
I found the soundboard.
drop my personal Venmo, and if you want to contribute to my therapy bills, fuck these guys.
I can't.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Let's just start the game.
Yeah.
We didn't
Yeah.
even get to the
Thank you very much for your attention. Fuck all of these guys. And money, please.
This is
I
rapidly
found it
becoming
too.
one of my favorite segments of the week. So good.
Oh no.
Oh man. Well, now that I've got that out of my system,
Oh yeah, that sounds likely.
Is it?
yes, it is. You all. In the northeast corner of the Whispering Wood, the Branch Mother's Den, the home of one Pohaku Kahu, you all have spent about the past 2.5 weeks honing your skills. Reconnecting with either yourselves or, in Pohaku's case, friends and loved ones, and deciding on where you're going next and exactly what the next steps are. This on the heels of the trial that Pohaku went through, with all of you joining him on this, facing a giant serpentine creature known as the Forgotten God. After this, Pohaku, speaking with the Queen of the Gods herself, the mother of Balder, revealing that the blade he was given back in the Shimmerstone Mines oh so long ago is the head of the spear that killed Balder. The god that is revered throughout the Thanamirian Empire, he holds what slew said god. Kira spoke with the Coven of the World Tree and learned some about not just his past, but who his mother was. That she was a sentient and partially artificial being from sort of a realm between the planes, the roots of the World Tree itself, and that with his birth, for balance to be maintained between these realms, that was the end of her physical life. A conversation between Kira and Castian Aloro in a dreamscape showed Kira displeased, to say the least, we'll say, with Castian for not shedding more light upon his past. And it was also Kira's birthday that you all got to celebrate with various shots and shenanigans and connecting between all of you. But after a nice long rest, oh, and I almost forgot to say, Reba talked to a tree, which ended up being a fey creature of sorts that she banished away before skedaddling back to the settlement and to inform Mannix that shit was getting real. But as you all wake on this day, the day is yours for what you want to do. Do not forget one of the things that some of you had mentioned, just so you don't leave this place without doing it, unless you don't want to anymore. You still have that cursed blade that you need a Coven of Hags to brew into a tincture to do anything about. But day is yours.
Well, I suppose we should stop by with my resident coven here. Who is carrying? Do I have the blade in the bag of holding?
Yeah, I believe the blade is in
the blade
like lockbox.
In a lockbox,
within
in a bag of holding.
the bag of holding.
Yeah.
And then we'll
Cool.
put it in another box, and then we'll put it in another box.
And they'll mail it to ourselves.
When it arrives, we'll smash it with a hammer.
And then we'll put it in another bag of holding, and oh no.
That move is known as the whoopsie-daisy.
I like to think of it as the Alderon.
I mean, You're not completely wrong.
I like to think of it as worst Christmas ever.
But yeah, you absolutely could go and speak with the Coven of the World Tree about this. There are multiple covens within the Branch Mothers' den. This is just, of course, the most significant of them, as they are the figureheads of this settlement.
Yeah, we can. So, who would we all like to go and chat up the?
I definitely would like to accompany you there.
I would like to attend.
I should probably go shower.
You bring up a good point.
Yeah.
Do we need Litrix and Vith there, the blacksmiths from around here, or do we just want to deal with the just with the trio?
Why would we need the blacksmiths?
I don't know, because it's a blade, and three blacksmiths is better than one. But if no, that's yeah, we can.
Oh, why don't we ask the what do you call them? Triumvirate or?
We call them anti.
All right, so we can ask the aunties, and if they want them, they'll summon.
And so it's like, I'm not sure. Is Kira actually just going to go get cleaned up, or does he actually want to accompany this?
No, he's going to get cleaned up because he does not want to be there for this.
Cool.
Because she jumps out of that sword. She was last in my head, so...
Yeah, she was. So, the rest of you will all head over to the large home of the World Tree Coven. The one who does the most speaking for them, Mama Marlene, will see you all approaching. I assume you are all setting out soon. What business do you have left with us?
Well, Sister Crystal, we've a cursed blade. We need to know where to bring it in the glade.
Oh my god!
So there's that.
Okay, that was awesome. So what I'm going to do with that, because that was effing amazing, and I love you.
I love you too.
Aw, I've resisted singing that song literally every time you say Sister Crystal. I'm over here like, no, copyright.
Why would you? Why would you? There's no copyright on Sister Crystal. There's a cursed blade.
Yeah.
So here'll be the thing, Phoenix. During this ritual that's about to take place, you may give you have an inspiration die. You have a D8 inspiration die, because that's what bardic inspiration would be right here, and you can choose when you want to apply that. It can be done anytime during this adventuring day.
Okay, cool.
So you have a 1d8 inspiration die. You have to come up with how you're inspiring, but that was so fucking awesome. I'm like, yeah, you can have an inspiration die for that.
Well, give me more obvious references that I can work with, because Sister Crystal was easy. Anything beyond that, I'm going to have to count on the artists of our group.
Yeah, I'm going to make you play a bard next time, I think, because...
I mean...
Lead singer's just halfway there.
Oh!
Tanya has met my bard. I don't know if you wanna meet Val, but anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Oh yeah, she knows.
So at the mention of the cursed blade, Granny Joanne will actually be the one to speak up. Say, may we see the weapon in question?
Absolutely. I'll pull it out of the bag of holding, keeping it still in the box. As I hand it over, I'll let her know that while we were on our way here, I was speaking with Auntie Busara. She mentioned possibly bringing it to grandmother's house, or possibly to Coven's Cradle, but I was hoping maybe you could give us anything else that you might know to assist us here and hand it over.
And you'll watch as she will sort of like, almost like telekinetically take the box from you with some gestures. You watch as it opens and the box just falls to the ground, clattering, and the blade is just hovering there in the air. First time you all have set eyes upon it since it was put away into that case. Memories
Like a little bit of a gag reflex on it.
Of the way it corrupted Kira and the danger held within it. And Granny holds it there, and you'll watch as Marlene watches near gestures, and you watch her eyes light up, and there is a great power held within this blade. But we can, at the very least, break the connection. Let us begin.
Okay. Just please be careful with it. Kira wasn't himself after too much time with it.
That I believe. They will drop the blade down into what looks to be an empty cauldron, and you can hear the blade hit the metallic bottom. And as they gesture their hands over, you watch as instantly there's this bubbling liquid that fills it. And the first one, Crystal, she steps up towards the natural 20 to the cauldron, chanting out an incantation, and you watch as this arcane energy comes off of her hands, and you can hear the sound of just this piercing scream come outwards from the cauldron itself, the ritual having started. And Granny Joanne focuses her strength upon it. Okay. And you can hear this almost like the tearing sound of fabric being pulled apart and shredded, and the scream gets louder and then dissipates outward, almost hanging in the air above the cauldron itself, as all three of them chanting in unison a language none of you can understand. Almost the tongue that holds the world itself together. And you could feel like the ground resonating with the tone of their voices, somehow growing louder and echoing throughout this entire building. And Mama Marlene will place her hand just over the cauldron itself, almost touching the liquid. Natural one. And you watch as the liquid, it like flares up on both sides, coming in down upon itself, and you can see part of the blade starting to rise up. And at the cat's eye gem that's in the pommel, you watch as what looks like this almost skeletal but like spectral hand reaching up out of it. All three members of the coven begin pouring their arcane essence into it with all the more strength. And you can see the part of the blade that's just visible above the liquid, the handle and pommel sticking far out, begins to sizzle and dissolve, the pommel slowly coming down towards it. And there's this huge flash of light and a small explosion that is heard. Everyone needed to cover their eyes from it, and as your vision starts to come to clarity. You can see that all three of the sisters, all three of the coven, each one their hand on the cauldron, breathing very heavily. The mist dissipating, and you see a fourth individual here. Woman with very pale skin, long, kind of where like dishwater blonde would meet gray hair, and you can see the veins beneath her skin. She turns her gaze, looking at first the coven, and to all of you. It's none of you, and teleports away.
Siobhan is going to run out the door and run to Kira.
Okay. The sisters peer down into the cauldron. You'll watch
What
as
just happened?
Granny will use her magic, and you can see this liquid hovering in the air, a very small amount. And Marlene comes over with a small vial, and liquid's lowered into it. She puts a stopper on it. Marlene will say, "Well, the ritual worked."
Who was that?
That was the resident of the Blade.
Oh,
Unfortunately, it seems that when I began my part of the ritual, she was resisting. Not exactly wishing to leave this realm or her physical body. And in that resistance, she was not destroyed. However, the blade itself and the curse held within it are no more, and what you are left with is this. A tincture that can be consumed, though I don't recommend it, or could be used to... Are you familiar with acid etching in terms of working with metal?
Fuck off, I'm not there.
I know a little bit about it. Siobhan would be the expert. Granny, with all respect, do we need to do anything about that?
It is possible that your paths may cross at some time, and should she have hostility towards you all, it is possible that violence will be the only course of action. Though it is also within the realm of possibility that she is going to be in search of whoever or whatever bound her to that blade. After all, a practitioner of the arcane with that much strength is very unlikely to take being sealed away without a large amount of anger. So, if you ever see her again, I would say be quite wary.
Would it work for me to use the spell Locate Creature once she bamps out of there?
Only
Or,
one way to
like, did it
find
look
out.
like a long-distance teleport spell? Could I tell?
I mean, she clearly teleported.
Yeah, I just don't know how far that would have been.
Sure don't.
How about, would I recognize it as Dimension Door?
Make an Arcana check.
would I recognize it as Misty Step?
You definitely would know it's not Misty Step.
Okay.
Just a 10.
10. You've only really seen, a handful of uses of the Dimension Door spell, and it's hard to know if this is just a different spell altogether, or if it, because it's a different spellcaster, if they just had a different way of using it. So you're not entirely sure.
Well, it's worth a try, because I don't plan on using many other spells today, so I just, as soon as she leaves, as soon as she teleports, I cast Locate Creature, just for the hell of it.
What's the range on that?
1,000 feet.
Nah, you don't get a damn thing.
Okay.
You don't get a thing. But Marlene will take the vial and she'll walk over to you, Pohaku, and she will just hand it to you. This is the distilled essence of the strengths that were in the blade. All impurities removed. It could be used to enhance some of your weaponry or armor for those who have the means of understanding how to do such things, or it could be taken to someone who has powerful skills in the alchemical arts and could be worked with to become consumable to then enhance whoever consumes it. Our methods are not ones that would assist you in that way.
I take it. Consider rubbing it on my pecs.
Might do something.
I don't let the intrusive thoughts win this time.
Well, I'm sure that was a bit more eventful than what you were hoping or planning this experience to be, but we are glad to have helped as we could. The curse within that blade was powerful, and it is now broken. Time will tell what that witch has to do or say about it.
This may be a long shot, but as the wisest, smartest, most lovely, and I wink at Granny, people that I know, I don't suppose you know anything about the blade. I only ask because if whatever that thing was that we just released is potentially looking to exact revenge on whoever bound her, you don't happen to know anything about that, do you?
And you watch as Granny, she runs her hand along the inside of the cauldron. Little bit of residue left over from the ritual. She rubs her two fingers together and gently tastes it. Her eyes go dark. The witch you just saw in the employ of a powerful benefactor, masked, faceless, angry. Her foes lie to the south people formerly of the mountain.
Oh my god.
Bound by those who were able to restrain her long enough to enact a ritual. Bound by the Order of the Raven. You'll watch as her eyes come back to normal.
Do I know what the Order of the Raven is?
The Order of the Raven you've heard of. There is a collection of spellcasters in the southern nation of Aefiol, largely druids and wizards that are known as the Order of the Raven, largely due to the raven's feathers they wear in much of their garments in reverence of Odin's two ravens, Hugin and Munin. Particularly, many of the wizards are particularly focused on the art of divination. Also, there's a duck. Crystal, oh, Waddles, what are you doing out here again? gather her duck up and put him away.
I did not mean to do that. I too just found where the soundboard is.
And now Crystal has a pet duck named Waddles. That's what happens.
I'm not even going to look for the dang thing. I don't need to know where that is.
That's probably
I
for the
cannot be
best.
trusted with that knowledge.
That is also true. So that is what I know.
Thank you.
Thank you for entrusting us with this task. A lesser trio may not have had quite the level of success we did.
Yeah, I mean, you're you.
She reaches up, she kind of pinches your cheek, and you are you, and that's why we like you so much.
Aw.
I'd say be about this point, Siobhan, you've probably gotten to Kira.
Would he be in the shower or? 'Cause,
Yeah.
I think at this point he's probably, he's probably fully cleaned up at this point.
she's busting in. She's not waiting.
Okay.
Frankly.
I just throw the cloak around me to finish off getting dressed. Siobhan, what the fuck?
Oh, all right. You're all right. Okay, good. So, bad news. I'm afraid. The Blood Witch. I don't remember her name. Evanora, was it?
Yeah.
Not important. Anyway, she escaped, and so I just came to make. Wait, hold on. How? What? She suddenly stops and basically grabs his head and is peering into his eyes, trying to figure out. Hold on.
Siobhan?
Are you, or are you? Is it you in there? Tell me
You'll
something
just
only
have
you
to
would know.
Wait and see.
She draws her fucking she draws the glaive.
Siobhan, I'm fucking with you.
It's not really smart, is it?
It's kind of fun though.
It's I have no idea. Here, and she's basically gonna fucking scruff him and drag him out.
This isn't necessary. That was just a joke.
Well, it wasn't a funny joke, and so now we're gonna
I
make
thought
sure
it
you
was
aren't.
funny.
Right. Well, you and your bare ass can tell it to the sisters, and not the sisters. Fuck, what are they called?
Evanora
Coven of
didn't
the
know
World
about
Tree.
the disco ball.
Just gonna stop and try to figure out. But she has access to your brain anyway, so I mean, I think just for
Evanora
ease and
doesn't know that we killed a dragon.
I'm wearing the fucking scales, so
Yeah, you could have bought
I-
that.
Anyway, yeah, it's like basically he's just slung ceremoniously over her shoulder at this point.
And it's about this time where the rest of you see Siobhan carrying in Kira, wearing basically only a bath cloak at this point.
Ooh. What'd we miss? Hey, guys.
Yes, Granny speaks. I see your other compatriot has joined. The ritual is done and over. We've given the tincture to Pohaku, and it was largely a success.
Right, so is having oil back in his head then?
Granny just walks over, and you watch as she kind of glances at Kira for barely half a second. No, definitely not. I would sense such. I would sense such a thing.
I walk over and put the bathrobe back over your butt.
Thank you.
You can put him down.
I put him down. It's
So this
important
was an
that you all know.
exercise in trust.
Mm,
I'm gonna go get my clothes.
I mean, if you feel like you need to, it's a nice butt.
Thank you. But
You're welcome.
My parents' rings are still back with my clothes, so I want those, you know? So I'm gonna just go. And I walk back to where my clothes are.
Roll a d20 and add your charisma modifier, Kira.
Sure. I'll roll this new d20.
Do it. You're rolling for dignity right here.
A 19
Rolling for dignity.
plus- You said my charisma?
Yeah, so what, plus 4 or plus 5?
Plus 4, so
Plus 4.
23.
23. You all watch as Kira just takes part of this bath cloak, throws it over his shoulder, and goes striding out with the poise and confidence of almost like Julius Caesar himself walking, walking the streets. Or you can't help but kind of go. For somebody who literally got carried in here with his bare ass sticking out, that is the confidence on that man. Okay.
Meanwhile, Kira's walking back, just, I should get a mask.
Sorry.
It's gonna be all the rage. It's gonna be all the rage in fashion. I tell you,
Couldn't
man.
pass that up.
I love it. Love it.
I love when we make jokes that make sense only to people in this room.
That's fine.
I don't know what that meant, but it's fine.
Our Fey Prince Zamatel, who constantly was walking around wearing only a mask.
Got it.
At least that was his formal wear, was just a mask.
Mm-hmm. It should be noted for the record that Siobhan does not feel bad at all. Doesn't feel bad, doesn't feel embarrassed. It was like, well.
So you all have your tincture. You have the information that you have. Up to you with what you want to do with that.
Just for record keeping purposes, is there anything specific I should note down as far as like what the tincture is, or just the tincture?
Just the tincture for now.
Okay. I'm going to put that in our shared loot spreadsheet.
Say, unless anybody decides they want to identify it, it is currently an unidentified magical tincture.
For 1/2 of a second, was like, I could try it. No, I can't. What the hell?
No,
Who has identified at this point?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it just Pohaku who has identify?
Yep.
Yeah, I cast Glaive, and that's my one spell.
Oh, are you suggesting identify on the tincture or? I mean, they already told us kind of what it does, but
Yeah.
sorry.
No, we don't got it.
It's like you can't. Oh, actually, I wasn't there, so Siobhan doesn't know.
So
But you can't.
no, so this is genuinely a question for Casey. Is that something that Reba was? Pohaku would
It was
absolutely
not
just
meant to
take
be.
it
It
on
was
faith
not
from
meant to
the.
be.
Okay.
I don't think Reba is that. I don't think she. No, I don't think she would.
Okay. Yeah, Pohaku would absolutely just take it on faith, whatever he got from
Yeah.
the coven.
I think Reba would too. I don't think she would go seeking out more scientific answers, so to speak.
Well, Siobhan 10,000% would before she used it to acid etch anything, but I don't think she knows that that's an option. So, because she was off, hauling their Kira across the camp.
I mean, once we have a moment, I would certainly share with you, what we got.
So,
I wonder
assuming
if
that
this tincture. I'm just trying to think of different ways to track Evanora at this point. I don't like the idea that she's just running around out there with no clue as to where or what she's doing. And I'm just wondering if, like, I'm trying to go through my spells and see if there's any sort of tracking or any sort of locate thing, but if anyone has that sort of spell at this level, I would love to know about it. Otherwise, I think that's just a wait and see.
if you all told Siobhan, what happened, it was something. I mean, the Order of the Raven in AFL. I think she's gonna know who that is, being that her parents are from AFL.
Absolutely, yes.
Like, oh, well, I'm very sorry we just created that problem for them.
Should we seek them out? Try to give them warning?
Considering that the witch can teleport, I don't think there's any way we can get the information there faster than her.
True, I don't know if she's going straight there or if she needs to recover some power or what the side effects of being trapped in a sword that long are.
Right.
Probably a terrible crick in the neck.
Ha
Hey, just
So
made
she's
it
off
back.
to the
What are we doing?
chiropractor first.
So, just made it back. What are we doing?
I could potentially try to reach out to someone there tomorrow, but maybe, I mean, I hate to keep leaning on my friends and family here, but perhaps again one of the coven or somebody else could just give them the warning.
Right.
I'll actually just Granny, is that?
I have some associates, close friends, you might even say, who are members of the Order. I will let them know that they may have a very angry blood witch headed in their direction in some time. Hard to know exactly how long she was trapped in that blade for. I don't believe that would be her first stop. She's definitely, well, I should say most likely not at her strongest at this moment. Probably needs to make sure she knows who she's going after. Or she could be looking to reconnect with her previous benefactors. Difficult to know exactly what would be top order of business for her.
Well, in that case,
Anything else we need to take care of here then?
Not that I can think of. So I guess let's get a move on.
Do we know where we're going?
What is our first stop?
What are any stops?
Well, we've got Vovris to deal with. We've got now a Blood Witch to deal with.
And we've got to go to Gizmopolis.
And Gizmopolis. I mean, Vovris is probably the closest
Yeah.
to...
Yeah, the Bank of Reflection is not terribly far from here. Probably the better part of a day's travel each way on foot, unless you've got a faster way to get there.
I'm just a little hesitant to, step out of the confines of the den. Because I feel like the first 2 forays we met into the wood, it was immediately dinosaurs and then a dragon. So
Well,
hard to get hyped up for whatever the next horror is going to be.
I mean, it's possible to... No, I don't quite have enough magic to do that. But... Because I was thinking if Pohaku could transform, polymorph one of us into something that can fly and carry a person or two, all my training, I can make myself and someone else fly. So that leaves, because we've got the transform person, 2 other people, and so if you've got a polymorph in you that can carry, 3 on their back, one of them most likely being Garnet, that would probably be our fastest way to travel.
Watch, we'll meet a chimera right after we leave. Something that's at home in the air. Or
I
a
can
dragon.
also only make
Sure.
the 2 of us fly for 20 minutes.
Or a pterodactyl. And then Siobhan's just listing every terrible thing she can think of that flies.
I can only keep myself and someone else airborne for 20 minutes, but that's a quick 20 minutes. This is just a thought.
Where I've forgotten her name, the druid that joined us and kind of did the transport via plants for us previously.
Venari.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Where is she?
She go ahead, Siobhan.
I'll say, well, she went back to where we first met her. Or, well, actually, she said she might be heading out to try to reconnect with Kudral back in. So I'm not sure where is the short answer, but not here.
Not here. Okay. And also for Kira, as to your thoughts on that, you've seen now Pohaku transform into that. It is a huge beast, the Quetzalcoatlus.
Right.
So it's got a strength of 15, but as a huge creature, that's gonna have what, 4 times normal carrying capacity.
I think so.
So it would,
Sounds good to me.
yeah.
I volunteer to be a huge beast.
I mean, isn't Reba already a huge beast?
I volunteer to be a huger beast.
She's swole.
And it's just an option to get us a place a little faster.
We just would need to be cautious. You know how you've all learned kind of how the woods work. Those of us riding on the Quetzalcoatlus, if most of us are there, but 2 of you are separate, stray thought, and we might end up getting separated by pretty significant distance.
True.
So we just want to be real careful.
Right, best to stay together then.
Foot power it is.
I mean, I could probably just try to think. Depending on how we want to go about things, I'm sure we could absolutely go on foot, or maybe just transform one of us into like a draft horse, and I'm sure we could fashion together a cart of some sort here as well.
Would that be faster?
Horse is going to be faster, but the terrain, what would I think
Yeah.
about that, DM? Is the terrain going to be unfriendly towards a horse and cart?
It's not going to be. It depends on the path you take. If you go in a straight line, it'll be fairly unfriendly to like a horse and cart. You could follow sort of a like path of sorts that goes a bit to the west and then northward. Hard to say which way would actually be faster in that case, because the straight shot, you're not taking a well-defined path. Now you also know that the Bank of Reflection is right on the edge of a very large river that runs through there. So once you get out of the wood a bit to the north, there's going to be a little bit of the vegetation is going to change as you get closer to the river. Like, it's not going to completely disappear like it would more towards the coast. But once you at least got to the river, it's a lot easier to follow that west towards your location than anything else, because it's a lot harder to get lost in the way that the woods would have one get lost, because you can't exactly fully lose sight of your goal, if that makes sense.
What do you think?
I just think we can't stay here forever. As nice as it would be.
We've certainly got too much to do.
Well,
Yeah. Anyone want to make a choice?
On foot, straight line. Let's go.
Hi.
Hold hands, everybody.
pitter patter,
system.
we should probably get going.
Love it. And so your mystery tincture in hand, your farewells being cast with the coven and those within the Branch Mother's den.
Oh, one small thing before we leave, and we don't need to.
Yeah.
This would be Siobhan. We'll need to RP this, but she would discuss with the group wanting to give the this Litrix and Vith some of the Black Dragon scales as thanks for the use of their forge and their help fixing up armor.
I'm down with that.
Well, let's see. We have 60 pounds worth of Black Dragon scale. How much do you want to give them?
How much did I use? I'm trying to. God, I don't know.
I think I may have marked the change on that. I think,
It's less than 60 now.
yeah, because Siobhan used some. I think in Pohaku's sheet I may have updated that. It may not be. If you guys still have the 60, it would be minus 22 pounds.
38
'Cause-
pounds. Got
Yeah,
it.
because scale mail armor weighs 45 pounds, but
Oh,
since
there
Siobhan,
it is. Yeah.
since Siobhan already had a suit of scale mail armor, I was like, okay, it's not going to cost all of that, but still not going to be an insignificant amount. But
Got it.
yeah, I mean, you could make
You
a
did,
real
I had
happy
it
like
listed.
3 pounds.
I had it listed in other possessions as well. That's why I didn't see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you did update it. Thank you.
We can make them real happy with what?
Probably make him real happy with like even as little as 3 pounds. I'd probably be pretty freaking stoked about that. Like he would know that this is a pretty awesome commodity to have.
Can we round it up to 5? If you're all right with that. Yeah, she'll give them 5.
Cool, and they will be extremely thankful with that. And the two of them immediately begin discussing all the different thoughts they have of what they could possibly try and make with it.
Okay.
33 pounds.
Back to leaving.
So as you all head out northward from the settlement, who wants to give me a survival check?
No.
So would you say we're departing, walking through the woods, trying not to become foods?
It's. We'll accept
I
that,
would
Ryan.
say that.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Damn. I'm impressed.
Amazing.
I'm impressed.
God damn it.
You know, I warned you all that I might be yawning. Apparently, I'm not going to be yawning. I'm just going to be going with this. This is the thing that's happening.
There's no.
I'm so
there's no
excited you
blockade.
decided to
There's
roll
no
like Buster
blockade
Hawkins
tonight.
bar.
No, it's just
I am all for the stream of consciousness. This is beautiful. This
Cool.
is truly beautiful.
you're beautiful.
Thank you. I will take that.
Have you guys seen Bjorn's hair? Oh my god! Can we just for a moment?
I got to see it in person. I was
Yeah, I love it. 100%. But yeah, who wants to give me that survival check?
Not it.
still don't.
I get a plus
I mean-
5.
I
You
can
do it.
totally do it, but I'm at a -1.
Reba.
Reba's gonna go ahead and give that survival check.
Pueo will assist you.
Awesome. So does that mean I have advantage?
I'll allow it. Yeah, Pueo absolutely could because he'd be able to fly up high enough to get a good bird's eye view, like to
In
sort of
that
just be right on the nose of it.
We got an 18.
18 total?
Mhm.
Awesome. Yeah, with the guidance of Pueo and your last venture out into the Whispering Wood, Reba, it didn't go quite the way you were hoping. What with this tree branch literally grabbing your hand and turning into a rather angry elf from another plane. You're cautious in the way you move forward, making sure that not only you're keeping a focus on where you want to go visually, but mentally, and keeping aware of where your allies are. And with your incredible passive perception, you don't need to roll for making sure you know where they are in relation to you. You're leading the way, making sure that visual sight is never broken amongst the group. Would you go ahead and roll a d8 for me?
Yes.
So you have everybody comfortably in sight when you come across.
7.
7. Yeah, you...
7 Bodax?
No. 7 flying Bodax.
God damn it. Stop talking. All of you stop talking.
Yeah, tempt me. Do that. See how it works out for you. Yeah, you find yourself making faster time than you expected. You actually are able to just... You notice what looks to be like fairly rough terrain that at first glance you were planning on going around it, but you actually notice that with a little bit of, basic hand over hand climbing up on these roots, and it brings you up on a little bit of a hill, and it definitely carves some time off of the journey itself, and it's not long before you see the edge of the river, and it's you can see where it's branched out in 3 different ways. From how it was described to you, that the Bank of Reflection lies just a short distance ahead. You have found your way there quite successfully.
Water hoe!
What'd you call me?
You heard her. Water hoe.
So, have we given any thought onto how we're gonna approach this woman who's in hiding?
I was thinking that I would hopefully just be able to coax her out to talk. And if she doesn't want to talk, then I'll make her.
Right. I like how you're both the good cop and the bad cop all on your own.
I mean, the choice of which one I am fully is on her. I'd rather do this pleasantly, honestly. But when you need goblin snot, you need goblin snot.
I had blocked that. I had just blocked that ever happened. Oh.
So I'll just take a look around and see if I see anything resembling like a camp or a hideout or something.
Make either a perception or an investigation check.
Oh. We're great at that.
I am now.
I was gonna say, Pohaku put a whole lot of effort into that. That is not the best. But it'll be a... Okay, my eyes are playing tricks on me. That's just a +1, so that'll be an 11.
11. Looking about, nothing stands out to you as terribly unique. At this point, and the timing of this is largely because Reba got you here very efficiently. There's still a little bit of daylight left to the day. Initially, you kind of figured you'd be getting there either at or a little past sunset. And it's difficult to really find... You're not really finding what you're looking for. You continue your approach to the river itself, and as you get closer, you guys come to a point where the towering mountain to the north of Stone Spire, the sun, as it's slowly descending in the west, it is briefly behind it, and then in what feels like almost an instant, day seems to be shifting to night as you see a crescent moon slowly beginning to rise in the east. The sky much darker than it was just a few moments ago. The shifting of time in the Whispering Wood being what it is sometimes.
Ah, shite, we've not stumbled into the Fate Realm, have we?
I mean, in the Whispering Wood, we're kind of always halfway there, right?
Whoa!
And as you continue your approach to the bank here, you hear this voice. And you, Kira, begin doing the one who's kind of the most looking. You just turn back while you can. And this voice seems to be coming from about 3 or 4 feet away. Is what about sounded like to your right and down.
Kira will just say out loud, "Can't turn back yet. Got some questions that need answers."
Turn back while you can.
God damn it.
The rest of us hear this now?
Sure do.
Can I look in the direction that the sound is coming from?
You can. Give me an investigation check.
No.
Jordan knows what the spell is.
That's all of a 7.
You're looking at it sort of in that direction. There's some fairly heavy brush over there. Talking bush, maybe? Turn back while you can.
Does Reba also see this talking bush?
I mean, you would hear where this sound's coming from.
All right, y'all, you do not trust any plants that talk in here. If a plant talks, it's a bad plant. Might not even be a plant. I don't like this.
And as
I
you're
don't
saying
like that bush.
He's not wrong.
yeah, as you're saying this, Reba, and you're looking in the direction of it with your massive perception here, all of a sudden you do notice something. And there's a small form within the bush, unmoving. And you can see that it looks like there's just this wood doll sitting there in the bush. Turn back while you can. And it's unquestionable that that's where the sound is coming from.
The bush is hiding a talking doll.
Oh, I
Don't.
fucking hate
Shake its hand.
marionettes.
It's creepy. It's always going to be creepy. Mannix, or not Matt, sorry, Pohaku, why would a bush need a doll? Is that a thing here?
I mean, companionship?
See, Pohaku, you can give me... This could be a history check if you want.
Okay.
To cuddle before it goes to bed? Why does anyone need a doll?
That's an 11.
11. Even with that, there were some within the Branch Brothers Den. You knew some folks having simple enchantments that could be put on a doll where it could repeat a simple phrase under specific conditions. Oftentimes we'd have a handful of phrases that when a certain condition was met, it would speak it. You've seen things like this. This is a very, very simple enchantment. Turn back while you can.
I have an idea. And I'm gonna mage hand and just like have the mage hand toss the doll away.
And as your mage hand picks it up, you're making a mistake.
I think mid-air, Reba tries to hit it with a sacred flame. Just, clay pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this thing, it's a doll. It's got no dex, so just roll the damage for your sacred flame.
Fantastic. Get my dice. That is going to be 19.
My gods. So as Kira performs the arcane yeet of this talking doll, as it's thrown, you begin to hear the beginning of its phrase. You hear this, "I can flip!" And it's just eradicated in this radiant burst as Reba hits it with the sacred flame.
Arcane
good.
beats.
Don't like talking bushes.
So
Now she says she doesn't like talking bushes.
So I guess we just keep cautiously going further in.
I mean, if it says turn back, it seems like a good idea to keep going. Seems like that'll lead us to the place it didn't want us to go, which is the place we probably want to be.
Yeah.
Onwards!
Did we both just get smarter?
It's entirely possible.
Definitely.
All right, whoever is leading this expedition, go ahead and just roll a d20 for me.
I'll do it.
Okay. If I can get a marching order.
Oh, right. There's no modifier. That's a 14 on the die.
14. Cool. What's your guys' marching order?
I think Reba would be pretty close behind Kira.
Mannix is doing his best Rimmer impersonation.
Leading from the rear. Love it. So we got Kira in front, then Reba.
It's kind of a rotating.
As far as Siobhan, Garnet, Pohaku, where are you guys at?
I would probably want to cover our back, but you know,
I guess I've
Not-
got the middle then.
not trying to interfere with this rear admiral here.
Garnet to the
Okay.
side of the group.
Love it.
Trying to stay away from their noisy antics as much as possible.
Give me a stealth check, Garnet.
Okay.
Oh, and Garnet, you would have the thing from the dagger gun, the gift of alacrity.
Oh, okay. That's a 27. Let me know if I need to add anything to it.
I think 27 is going to do you pretty well for this right here.
Okay.
And so all of you will see, like, Garnet just kind of scurries off into the brush a little bit. You've all gotten used to this. It's how she operates, what she does. And Kira, you leading the way for a bit. You find yourself near the edge of the river now, specifically where you were told the Bank of Reflection is. And you can see a portion of the river where the current seems to completely stop in almost this half-moon shape. You see the current running everywhere except for this one spot where it is just completely calm and shimmering like glass. And then you will hear a voice. You can't quite pin down where it's originating from. A woman's voice. I happened to like that doll.
We can make you a new one.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be too hard. I need.
Hey, so oh,
to
go ahead.
ask
Sorry.
you- I need to ask you some important questions.
I'm sure you do. I have a tendency of staying alive by not entertaining guests.
Huh?
Well, that's
Well,
okay.
sooner-
I can entertain them. They just need you to answer some questions.
The sooner I know what I need to know, the sooner we're out of your hair.
We don't mean you any harm.
You don't look like the sort that doesn't mean people any harm. You seem to be fairly well armed and armored. The whole lot of you.
Well, I don't know if you've been out, but there's freaking dragons and dinosaurs in the woods.
And one of you seems to have disappeared a bit, so that keeps me quite wary.
Yeah, you get used to that. Look. It's apparent that you already know the general vibe of who we are and what we're here for. So I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Who killed my dad?
I knew this was only a matter of time. Thought I was safe and that I could be left alone here out of
the fucking jurisdiction of people who meddle in things that aren't their concern, but wouldn't you know it, I can't even have a little dirt hovel to call mine. And you will see, as just sort of stepping sideways out of some sort of protective illusion, a woman, very, very just like gaunt, pale, almost dead looking skin, jet black hair hanging just past her shoulders. The attire of what looks to be some sort of caster, largely leathers with this long, dark leather cloak behind her. She looks over all of you. I don't want your blood on my hands, but if it's you or me, it is not going to be me.
Bobicus, wait! Gasper sent us.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh shit. I'm not good at those, but that's I probably get a negative. Oh, I sure do. It's a 16.
She holds her hand. You've spoken to Gaspar.
Yes. This here, the very serious looking one, is, oh fuck, I've forgotten his dad's name. But Siobhan would not have.
Siobhan
dad's
remembers his
name is
father's name
Tyree.
is Tyree.
I'm sorry, I'm stressed out. Oh. This is Tyree's son. He wants answers, and he means you no harm. None of us mean you any harm. We're armed as we are to travel.
This is how this is going to work then. One of you is going to agree to, well, let's just say one of you is going to agree to put your safety in my hands. And if any of you tries to do anything to me, then that person will be on the receiving end of my retribution, and I will not feel sorry for it. So, who's it going to be?
I'll do it.
Very well, brave one. This will be surprising, but it will not hurt. She extends her hand, and he watches this arcane cage flies out and completely envelops Siobhan as she's held in a force cage.
Can I still communicate?
Yeah, you absolutely can. The cage is not much larger than you. You're not hunched by it, but it is just like completely around your body, like a very, very private prison cell.
I'm going to, and it's Voverus may very well hear this, and that's fine. I'm going to say in Pihaku's head, I think he's most likely to listen to you. Please keep him calm.
So, what are we here to talk about?
You were who my father was sent to take out on his last mission. And he was killed. And I'm almost entirely certain it was not you. But I have a feeling you know who it was.
Well, the fact that you are insistent that it wasn't me already puts us on much better footing than I hoped it would be. I've nearly been killed more times than I'd like to think about. I'm not saying it's been a large number, but it's been more than once, which I think for anybody is too many times.
I'm very sorry for your loss, and I'm sure my edgy nature at the moment doesn't exactly show that coming forth in my voice, but I'm going to need you to be a little more specific in terms of someone I may have seen killed when their job was to kill me. Because it has happened a few times.
Well, I mean, we look nearly identical. He was sent with a squad that would have comprised of, and I describe the whole squad.
Did you say that, G? That I do remember. I didn't know your father personally at all.
I mean, why would you have? You were a target.
Gaspar did. They had communications. I wasn't his only quarry that day. Gaspar was on that list as well. And it was with no small amount of surprise when Gaspar explained to me that this hunter that was coming to my doorstep was not at all here to harm either of us, but to exchange information. Apparently, your father seemed to think he had a lead or an understanding or a belief, whatever you want to call it, as far as in terms of what the fuck it was that happened to Gaspar and why he was fallen from grace in the eyes of his employer. They met and spoke, and my job was to be there in case your father tried anything. He didn't. And she gestures over at Siobhan. This would have been all I would have done if he had. The blood of a mage hunter was not what I needed on my hands. Gaspar was told to run. I was told to hide. I probably shouldn't have stayed and watched. But curiosity is a powerful thing. A few individuals approached the man who had spoken with Gaspar, I assume your father. And the way you describe him, it's the only one it could have been. I assume by these individuals I saw, they were members of his group, the white-scaled dragonborn you spoke of. He approached, told Tyree he had committed treason against the Empire by colluding with one who had broken his oath, and that he would be taken in. And another stepped forward, resisting the dragon. 3 shadowy forms splitting off of his body. 2 of them grabbing the dragon and halting him. The man who split them went to Tyree, asked him what he knew, why this was so important. Tyree said to him that he had an understanding that
there was corruption behind the crown. There was one wearing a mask, leading some sort of cabal. One who was potentially above and beyond, if not simply just in league with the Emperor. The man asked Tyree who else knew, who else could be trusted with this information. And Tyree said, only the two of us. And it was at that point that the third shadowy form stabbed Tyree in the back from behind with a long spear. And Tyree, reaching up at the man's face, the hood pulled back, and she will describe in detail the face of Castian Aloro.
I was right. I was right.
One thing about her story is very, I was going to say jarring, but obviously all of it's jarring to you, Kira. But one detail stands out as very odd. Castian creating the echoes. Of course, you know he's an Echo Knight. But as she describes this spear,
Yeah.
every time you have ever seen Castian in his full regalia, which granted you never saw until you joined in with the census, the times he came around in your youth, he was just dressed in civilian clothes. You always saw him wearing this massive and very ornate greatsword.
Yeah.
Census members are often quite similar to RPG characters in that people have their preferred weapon they like to use. And that bit stands out to you as her mentioning the spear.
There wasn't anyone in the squad that was a spear user.
No. As far as you know. I mean, you only met them, as you joined. Like Tyree never really talked about what sort of weapons folks used. That was not his style of talking about things.
And so they all knew and lied to my face.
There was one who I don't think knew. Two other members, after Tyree had expired, eventually showed up. One, a mage, a woman, definitely seemed to be in league with this Castian. The three of them, the dragon, the half-elf, and the human, the mage, they briefly spoke. And a fourth, fifth, if you count the late Tyree, joined them, a automaton. And this was when I first heard my name brought about, as the three of them said to this automaton that Tyree had engaged me in combat, and I had struck him down.
Yeah. So, at least I wasn't the only one lied to, I guess. But the rest of them, They lied to my face about this. For 5 years, they had been telling me that they're wanting me to take my father's place in the squad. They were sending gifts, sending messages helping me grow up, all while lying to my face about this.
They
there's-
performed funeral rites upon the spot.
His death is gonna be slow. His death is gonna be excruciating. I will send him to whatever gods he prays to, with millions of wounds.
I'm going to assume that since you haven't tried to do anything to me, and light of this news, that there is no ill will between you or I. I'm sorry I didn't do anything to attempt to intervene.
You would have died too.
That's the reason I didn't. And she will dispel the force cage around Siobhan.
Siobhan's going to start to rush up to Kira and then stop because she's not sure if he wants to be touched, if he wants to be comforted. So she's kind of next to him, like, reaches out tentatively.
Well, I've learned what I needed to know. It's not pleasant, but thank you all the same.
For what it's worth, Gaspar, the times he mentioned him, spoke very highly of him.
Everyone seems to say that. I wish I got to see more of it myself. And Castian took that from me. And I'm gonna take everything from him. You said you didn't like guests. We should go.
You're fine. The wood can be a dangerous place at night. You are welcome to be my guests for the evening if you would like. I only don't like guests because usually they're hunting me. Anyone who chooses not to hunt me, that's a good day for me. If I meet people that have no desire to kill me. I don't usually meet people. So, I can offer you dirt to lie on. I have glorious amounts of water to drink. And if you like root and nettle stew, well, I can make a very adequate summation of something close.
Mm-hmm.
I have some mushrooms I think are edible.
Yeah. Let me...
I don't always eat a lot, and she gestures to the fangs. Get most of what I need from the creatures nearby.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've fed recently, so none of you need to worry about me. I'm not currently at risk of succumbing to the hunger.
So I don't want to risk your hiding place, but if I don't do something very loud soon, I'm going to lose it. Do you mind?
Not at all. I have a few hiding places, and I believe I can do something to mask it if need be.
Please, whatever you're gonna do it right now.
She will cast polymorph and turn herself into a T-Rex and just roar loudly to cover up the sound.
And I'm going to just cast a lightning bolt up into the air.
And so there is this moment where this massive lightning bolt flies upward, going up into the sky, a T-Rex roaring next to it. It frankly looks like a mid-'80s album cover for a good hair metal band. Like
I was gonna say.
This is...
Oh. Yeah, I needed to let all that out.
She will drop the polymorph.
I'm sorry I didn't have a more pleasant tale to tell you.
A hard truth is better than a comforting lie.
I just wish I knew what it was he knew to explain what happened to Gaspar. He never got to tell him.
That just means I get to have some fun extracting that information from Castian.
I mean, I think we already know. Seems your father. Please go ahead.
Yeah, there's a specific that I've gotta figure out. My father knew who was behind the mask. I'm almost certain of it now.
And we want the same thing.
So Castian knows. He's gonna tell me one way or the other.
You will see as Volvorus looks over all of you, and her eyes meet Reba's. Head kind of turns to the side for a bit. You've heard her voice too, haven't you?
Oh, just once or twice.
I wonder if you're the one she's talked to me about.
What's she saying?
Not much, but she did speak of a child of hers with a interesting melange of companions. I can only assume she means you.
I mean, I don't know how many she is claiming as her children. Don't want to make any assumptions, assume I'm special, but it sounds like it would fit. A fitting description.
Well, it's a small comfort to know that I'm not the only one who hears her sometimes.
She really gets chatty, doesn't she? Like, it's weird. You'd think there'd be less time on her hand for social calls, but like, man, she is just incessant.
This is incredibly accurate.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it gets boring just being surrounded by dead people, but like, wow. Go join a bingo club or something, Grandma. Come on.
Siobhan subtly edges away from the people talking shit about the goddess of death.
Yeah. The way that our
She's heard worse from me.
The way that our parties are so casual with deities every time.
They mess with our stuff.
They mess with our stuff. That's it exactly. Thank you. I don't care who you are. If you mess with my stuff, don't dish it out if you can't take it.
Frigg was awful pleasant. But
That's true.
just saying.
I will leave it up to you if you wish to stay here for any amount of time. I don't get guests terribly often, so I wouldn't be opposed to the company, but I also understand if you have places to be.
Sorry, can you remind me, Bjorn,
Yeah.
this encampment, like, what is the lodging situation? Like, is there any sort of a shelter? Is she just kind of like tucked up under a lean-to? Like, what does it look like?
Looking about right here, you don't see any sort of structure in this exact spot. Like where she stepped out of, she seemed to have just been completely like invisible against the water itself. Not sure if it was an invisibility spell or if she had some sort of illusion that was up, keeping her from being seen until she chose to be.
Okay. What time of day is it at this point?
It's now nighttime.
It is nighttime. Okay. I mean, this seems as good a place as any. I look to the group if anyone thinks otherwise.
I mean,
Lady
Yeah, yeah.
Volvris, do you stay here? Do you have any sort of shelter for yourself, or are you constantly moving?
I have a few locations. I hope you don't mind being underground.
Oh, not at all.
And she will lead you over to this sort of like very rotted out side of a rather large tree. There's this one kind of section of the roots, about a quarter of it, has a large amount of rot, mostly overgrown with mushrooms, and she presses her hand into it and she goes, the first step's a bit of a big one. See you inside, and you'll see where she steps, and she just kind of disappears down into the loose ground.
so yeah, Siobhan is like reaching over to help Garnet, and then realizes that it's not a big step. It's just, oh, okay.
And yeah, one by one, as you all step down into this, you see it's about a 6-ish foot drop on the inside, and there's this long kind of winding corridor, and you see some of the roots on the inside of this pathway have some light coming off it, some sort of like phosphorescence, for lack of a better term. And you travel for what feels like, you definitely go a few hundred feet before it comes out into this large expanse, and looking up in this domed room, essentially, that you're in, that has other paths branching off from it. You can see some root structures up above you, and some simple hand-carved furniture here. A few stores of food. You can see a sleeping area that she has laid out, and just various either naturally occurring light from the phosphorescence of the wood itself, or places where she set up some arcane light. She goes,
Welcome to home. Well, tonight's home. Rest as well as you can. I will see if I can make something, I'm not going to say palatable, but digestible to consume. And I hope you like water to drink, because I have a large amount of water.
He cares for tea.
I don't know when the last time I had a cup of tea was. I would love some.
I'm gonna bring out my assortment of fancy teas that are in my inventory that I bought back in the Asharan Vale, I think. Like, well, I don't know what you prefer, but they just describes them or shows, and then it's like, this is what I have, and this one's very nice for the evening.
You see, she's looking over them. A tear comes down her eye. It would be nice to have a taste of home. It's been a long time. Thank you.
Are you from the Vale, then?
A lifetime ago I was. Might be 2 lifetimes at this point. The dark gift, as the more extreme ones like to call it, the dramatic types, has its perks, has its drawbacks. I don't know why I ever agreed to it, to be honest with you. But you make an agreement with the vampire and become all that you see before you, and you drunkenly make a bargain with the goddess of death, and you watch as some arcane energy comes off of her hands, and you get all this. And then before you know it, there are people who just want to kill you. So... Long ago, I did used to live within the Vale, the capital of Tuatha. But I wonder if half of what I remember is still there. Oh, fuck it, we're elves. They're elves, I guess. I'm technically not one anymore. Things never change with them. We adhere to the past. We never forget where we came from.
I mean, you don't have that Ponzi accent they'll affect, though, so...
Most of them don't have an accent.
I always known it was an affectation. I always knew.
It's less an affectation for some and largely an expectation, if that makes sense. People expect creatures that have such lengthy lifespans to have some sort of profound way of speaking. Well,
I was telling them all because you meet them young and they sound normal, and then they get older and suddenly they all sound like they come from a long, long time ago.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
I'm just going to say, out of character, I would like to congratulate me on how very bad that was of me trying to do an Irish person doing a such a British accent. I feel like I nailed it.
Perfection.
Like, that was terrible. Good job.
Go outside.
Oh. Garnet's hidden again. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Garnet Cena.
Yeah.
So I'm making tea and small talk. Or medium talk. I don't know. Not talking about the weather.
How's Mannix taking her hanging out underground
all this situation, and how is he handling hearing what it is that happened to Tyree? I mean, you're the one who's known Kira the longest.
Well, first of all, Mannix is not super comfortable being underground. He's not loving that. He's remembering the very first time we ran into a dragon, and he's just looking over his shoulder, feeling a little cramped. He's actually, as far as how he's handling everything that went down with Tyree, he's being very, at least as subtle as he can be. He's trying to be as close to Kira as he can be without being like on top of him, just to try to be as much of a reassuring presence, but without being real obvious about it.
Very cool.
And making sure we don't get another goddamn dragon.
Priorities.
Mannix, make a perception check.
That's not.
Don't do that. That's...
Oh, 9.
You do see this one, like, rather large root that for half a moment you are, like, almost convinced is like a dragon's tail. And you all watch as Mannix whips around, ready to cast a spell, and you just see it's just sort of this large root there.
I mean, there are certain dragons that burrow.
Yep.
At ease, boys. At ease.
It's me in real life every time I watch a horror movie. Like,
Bjorn, is that scene from Red Dwarf all over again.
In polymorph. It's the wall!
Shame mode engaged. Aye. Except we all know Mannix has no shame mode.
No, you know it does not.
Bjorn, what would I know of... sorry, it's the Asharan Vale?
Yes.
Is where she comes from? Mm-hmm. How much would I know of that?
A fair amount. Simply because so much of the Vale is rich woodland, much like the Whispering Wood. Just with the difference that the Whispering Wood very much almost overlaps with planes of some of the Dark Elves, for example, and so a lot of that Fey energy bleeds over, whereas in the Asharan Vale, there isn't that same overlay. It's primarily wood elves who live there. There are the settlements throughout, for example, the City of Virtue and the capital city within the Asharan Vale of Tuatha, which you know is, from what you've read or heard about, just is these towering spires of buildings and is apparently a just beautiful sight to behold of a city. And there are still many elves who live just throughout the woodland within the Vale for one reason or another. Some for the sake of staying connected to their heritage, some just because they're crunchy granola people that really want to just be out in the woods. They're Casey's people.
shower outdoors, they're savages.
With that knowledge, there is a thing when we are getting ready to turn in for the evening. There is something Pohaku wants to do before he goes to sleep.
Awesome. Anything else that any of the rest of you are doing before this day draws to a close?
It's also a thing right before going to sleep, so...
Cool.
Just keeping an eye on Kira.
Awesome. So as the day begins to draw to a close, Kira, what is it that you want to do?
It's just like right as like laying down, kind of bedding down, getting comfy. He's going to like thinking about all the recent closer interactions with deities. He's just gonna think through, and it's not necessarily a prayer, but he's just kind of think to the Pantheon. And just... Vidar... Tyr... If you've got any help, I've got a lot of fights and a lot of revenge. and just kind of let that be his prevailing thoughts while falling
Make a
asleep.
religion check.
Ah, yes, religion, the thing that he's never really paid attention to once in his life. 7.
You feel connected to your prayer. You do feel slightly unsure of exactly who to primarily direct it to. So like you said, kind of throwing a few names from the Pantheon. You're like, well, let's put a shotgun effect to this and see what happens with it. You don't feel any sort of like response from beyond, but that doesn't put you in any sort of discomfort, because how often is it that the gods actually do such a thing? If they're meant to hear you, they heard you. And if they're not meant to, they didn't.
Right.
But you feel neither no greater or lesser amount of confidence for it. Okay. What'd you have, Pohaku?
Yeah. So as the day is drawing to a close, I'm gonna go to. I'll go to Siobhan. Hey, I'm gonna go outside. Would you mind coming with me? Just watch my back. I'm gonna be kind of concentrating for a little bit, and I just want to make sure, just watch my back if you don't mind.
All right. Hey,
S-
tell the others. Just, no big deal. But just like,
We'll be back in maybe half an hour or so. And so I'm gonna head back outside. I'm gonna go a good deal away from where we are. Maybe if Siobhan is comfortable with it, I want to go maybe like even as far as like half a mile from where we are currently at. And then I turn to her. It sounds like it's been pretty rough out here for Vovris. She was getting a little misty-eyed when she was talking about home. I think maybe I can bring her some of that. So just, if you don't mind, just watch my back for a little bit. And I'm just going to go where I can see, a good amount of trees, which I'm sure is probably everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm going to try to find, like a nice looking one where I would expect that, the wood is going to be solid. And I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes casting Fabricate. And I am molding the tree into a bed. And it is with my proficiency in woodcarver's tools. I am going to, it's going to be pretty elaborate. I don't necessarily know what a bed from the Asharan Vale might look like, but knowing that they have kind of a similar background, basically like it's not like a full-blown 4-poster bed, but like the 4 posts on the corners of it are just going to be very elaborately carved with vines, flowers, nature scenes, and basically just creating a bed frame out of it. With my first application of Fabricate.
Okay. I would say with that, because you're using the Fabricate spell,
Mm-hmm.
give me a Woodcarver's Tools check with advantage, because you are casting a spell of Fabricate. I'll call that proficiency plus intelligence.
Intelligence, okay.
And I'm only doing intelligence over Dex because you're trying to think of the connection for it.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's roll 7, 23.
23. I feel like you're doing a pretty great job. Siobhan, give me a perception check.
uh, 19.
19. You're keeping your eyes fairly well peeled, and you're listening for anything that might be approaching. You guys have spent some time now in the wood, and while I'm not going to say you're comfortable with it, because the Whispering Wood's still the Whispering Wood, but you feel like you've gotten used to a lot of the sounds. You can tell when the sound of a creature is approaching. You've started to be able to tell the footfall of a few different kinds of creature where you're like, that sounds like it was probably just a deer heading that way. Okay, it's obviously one of those dinosaurs, but it's too far off to worry about. So not only do you have you're very well tuned to that, but with that 19, you're able to glance every now and then at the woodworking that Pohaku is doing, creating this bed. It's pretty damn impressive. So yeah, Pohaku, the craftsmanship is unquestionably sound, and artistically, you think you've done a pretty good job.
10 minutes later, after that is complete, I'm going to cast it again. This time looking around grasses, vines, fibers, and just doing my best to create the best, most comfortable, essentially mattress that I can out of all of it.
Cool. I'd say, yeah. Sorry, that's actually not woodcarver's tools.
That's
Just
fair,
go ahead and
yeah.
roll a d20 again with advantage and add your dex mod.
Natural 18 for 23.
Awesome. Yeah, again, you feel like you've done a pretty good job creating this mattress on there. It's got some support to it. You know, it's not too soft and squishy, but you know, it's also fairly firm on there. You don't think it's gonna be itchy. You're like, I got a pretty good weave on this, and you think it's gonna have a pretty good amount of durability. Also, you're like, hey, all right, this is well done.
All right. And then once that is complete, last thing I will do is take the next 10 minutes to ritual cast Floating Disc, which is going to come up underneath it.
Very
I was
nice.
wondering how we were. I was wondering how we were carrying this back.
Which is how we're getting it back.
I was like, oh, this is why he asked me. Damn it.
I had the exact same thought. I'm like, this is the real reason Pohaku asked Siobhan. It's like, all right, now I need those big muscles of yours to lug this thing.
Also, I can move it with my brain.
Yeah, and Siobhan, you maybe do have that brief moment of like, oh, this is why that right bastard had me come out here, as he needed me. Oh, he's hovering it. Like, that's pretty cool. And you're already thinking of applications that something like that could have back in the shop. We're like, oh man, if we could just move stuff around with like a floating disc, maybe your Da needs to invest into something like that.
See, you're right. I think that is what she would think. Jamie was going, wait, why am I walking if we have a hovering disc?
I mean, there probably is enough room on the hovering disc if you want to sit on it too, Siobhan.
It's no problem at this point. I mean, it just follows me. It's not going to weigh anything.
She's not lazy
Siobhan,
like Jamie is.
This might be the only time that I will get to carry you somewhere. So, get on.
Kind of, sheepishly, like still holding her glaive at the ready, Right, well, I'll just cover the rear, shall I?
You almost look like a surfing level in a Ninja Turtles video game with your weapon at the ready, but perched on this thing that's like it's like moving along, like just very much, yeah. And it doesn't
take it back to the cave.
The work's very fine. The craftsmanship is very fine.
Thank you. I'm coming from you. You would know. I appreciate it.
Well,
Also,
I don't know what.
You feeling all right?
Why?
Almost sounded like a compliment. And I just keep hovering the thing 20 feet behind me.
Freaking nice, you freaking bastard.
I keep telling you, it's not worth it. Don't.
Where the fuck did you come from? Oh, this whole time.
It's a good thing that's not a concentration spell, because I might have just completely dropped the bed when...
The new magic item we're working on, Mannix's portable hole.
Hey, it's the same place that Pahaku came from when he gave me coffee in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. Sometimes, for the sake of comedy, you're allowed to just appear right at the frame of the action, because sometimes the comedy of commentary just needs to be. Like, we allow this. And at the sight of it, Vover essentially,
Yeah, so I was
I
kind
didn't
of
make it
listening to
clear
what you were
where
saying.
people could sleep. Yeah, no, if you need to set that up and be that's fine. I have the room in here. You're good. No, that's I've never had somebody bring their own bed before. Interesting.
It wasn't for me. I mean, I guess I could, but you were describing it. What you did meant a lot to a friend of mine, and it sounded like you were missing home. I know this isn't quite the same as the Vale, but it's what I know from where I come from, and I thought maybe just having a little piece of home and comfort might be. I mean, it was just a quick job. I only had 10 minutes to take care of it, but I think it turned out okay.
It's beautiful. Thank you. I am not used to shows of kindness, but I do sincerely thank you. This is very nice.
Should you need it, I know Mannix is very well versed in testing out mattresses as well.
Oh, I already bounced on it for, science.
She picks up exactly what you're putting down, Pahaku. She kind of looks over at Mannix. He's not bad looking. Not my usual type, but I don't know. With all of you in the same room, if that's what you're into, that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to kink shame here, but
oh my god!
I don't like an audience.
Oh,
Siobhan
I
is
mean,
fucked off.
I just don't need them to think I'm bad looking. If they don't think I'm bad looking, then
It's actually no problem. No, I can take care of this, and I'm going to cast the other spell that I picked up, Major Image, and I'm essentially just going to make a wall. I mean, it won't keep out the sound, but hey, do what you got to do. I mean, I wasn't expecting, but I mean, he's kind of a slut, so I mean, I've got no judgment.
I'm not gonna lie. Usually, I'm into that, but
I got 3 castings. You got 30 minutes.
I have noped off the planet at this point.
let's
Thanks for watching my back out there, Siobhan.
let's put that as a most likely, maybe not. But I'm not saying no. Thank you for the bed. I think I'll just test it out by myself first, if that's okay.
She bop, we bop, they bop.
Phoenix is tempted to go somewhere with that, but Pohaku will let it. Yeah. But Pohaku is going to just let it drop. And
It's like Cyndi Lauper. What y'all talking about?
Right.
And I will drop the Major Image. And yeah. One last question for the night. Mannix,
Yeah.
like you've mentioned being a little uncomfortable here underground. How obvious is it to the rest of us? Like, are you holding it in pretty well, or are you looking uncomfortable?
He not super twitchy, but definitely just kind of he's looking around a good amount, just like every now and again, just like kind of make sure a wall is a wall. More odd behavior than concerning behavior.
Okay. Bjorn, can I just roll a quick insight check? My insight sucks, but I just want to see if I can pick up on that.
Yeah. Mannix, give me a deception check.
Oh, fuck. There's no way I'm getting this now.
Pohaku's insight check.
Well, how sure are you of that, my friend?
I mean,
What'd you roll, Nathan?
I feel better now rolling a natural 20 for 19.
Probably
Is that a
can't.
1?
That's a 1.
Yeah, you can read him like a fucking book. One's still a 1.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Natural 20 for 19. So,
Best use of
No.
a nat 20 ever to see what Mannix is feeling.
I
Well,
cannot
it's-
believe.
so all this is, Mannix, is if I see you kind of looking a little, I mean, underground, this is fucking great for me. But if noticing you just seem a little on edge and uncomfortable, I'll walk over to Mannix and, as this would be towards, as you're trying to nod off and looking a little weary, I'll just come on over and, hey, I know underground isn't for everyone. Mannix, I know you and I sometimes, I mean, you're kind of a dick, but I know you embrace it. And that's great. But I'm just going to ask, let me help you tonight. I need you to trust me for just a moment.
Kira here.
I'm already asleep.
I'm a crash.
Bloody hell, what would Kira do? Bloody hell.
I'm just going to try to help you get a better night's sleep. I promise.
If this involves the bed, you need to tell me right now.
You'll have to ask Volvers about that. Not what I was going for.
Very well. But
Okay. Yes.
keeping a close eye on you.
And I look at you with all sincerity, and I tell you exactly what I'm going to do. Mannix, all I'm going to do is just suggest you get a good night's sleep.
You can choose to fail that saving throw if you want, Mannix.
And that is
What
why
do
I'm
you
asking
say?
you to trust me.
It's up to you. Are you going to trust him and willingly fail the save? You would know what spell this is and know exactly that he's literally just trying to help you get a good night's sleep. But I also know that Mannix is Mannix, so if you're like, no, fuck it, he's,
And
Totally
yes,
up
on his
to you.
comment in chat, if only that worked in real life.
Oh man, how great would that be?
Word.
Ugh.
Very well. But I'm not trusting you again for another several months.
Everybody
Well,
gets
that's
one.
okay. I mean, I don't if it's sometime before the next, wet season, I think I'm ahead of the game. And with that, make yourself comfortable. And I will cast suggestion. And sweet dreams, Mannix. I suggest you get a good night's sleep. And I will stay awake for like a couple of hours concentrating on that before I drop it and go to sleep myself.
Excellent. And yeah, all of you will receive the benefits of a long rest and wake up very refreshed. Reba, roll a d20 for me.
Okie dokie. Let's see. How does a 5 sound?
While you sleep, you find yourself in a familiar, shadowy realm. Rot and decay stretching around you. And you have usually just heard the voice of Hela. It's rare you actually see the physical form. And standing before you, towering what seems to be almost hundreds of feet tall in this dreamscape, and where you stand in just the ether is kind of right near her collarbone height. You see the shape of Hela before you.
Well, I see you've met another one of mine, for lack of a better term. Have you not, child?
Yeah, no, it's been lovely. It's yeah, it's nice to meet another member of the family.
I respect you enough to not pry around in your head and just simply know what you're thinking. I could if I wanted to, but
You know, you can ask me. I'm an open book.
you recently received some information about one who is deceased. In my infinite kindness and comfort, I decided I would take it upon myself to tell you his soul does not reside in suffering in my domain. He is with others who frolic in the light.
So he went to the good place?
I resent the notion that there's anything wrong with my home.
You just said it was like all about suffering. Like you just said that. I'm
Have you
sorry.
Have you
but
never heard the term sweet suffering, child?
listen, to each their own. You got it.
Quite right.
So who is he with then?
He is with those in the Eternal Mead Hall.
Oh, well that's gonna be good news. I know that you disagree.
I told
Clearly by
you
the
it
tone?
was. I told you it was good news.
The disdain made it feel otherwise as it was being delivered, but I know some people who will be very happy to hear that. I do appreciate you passing that along. That's awesome. Is there any chance a visit could be arranged?
Die in battle, and if you're worthy in their eyes, whatever that means.
Like temporary, like vacation, temporary trip sort of visit.
You're
You know,
so adorable, child.
I just think, you guys are really cracked down on these boundaries, and I just don't feel like it's that necessary, but no, okay,
boundary of
we'll
death.
visit.
The boundary of death is quite the necessity. There are those who have visited with gods. Though the process of that taking place is not something I am particularly privy to. So I wouldn't count on it.
I won't get my hopes up, or anyone else's hopes up, but it is nice to know that someone's having a good time in the mead hall.
Until next time, child.
See you then.
And you will all find yourself awaking here in the abode of Vovrus. And as a new day begins, what are you guys gonna do?
I immediately pass along the good news. Just like, it's not like it changes much for us out here. But he's in a good place. He's in the mead hall.
I mean, I didn't ever have any doubt that he wasn't there, but it is good to know.
Yeah.
It is weird to know that actually exists and it's not an abstract concept.
No, it really sounds very literal. Like
Yeah.
a big mead hall, not just like whatever your personal happiness is, but like big mead hall, bunch of heroes.
Yeah.
Good time. feasting, banquets.
Yeah. Weird. Deity stuff's weird.
Yeah, deity stuff is so weird, dude.
The thing meat is gross.
Oh no! You just haven't had the right ones yet. See if it gets too sweet and it's just like there's ways. There's ways. Trust me.
No, the sweet's not the problem. The fact that it tastes like rotten honey is the problem.
That's the solution.
Reba, give yourself inspiration.
Thank you. Don't you want to feel like a drunk bee? It literally looks and tastes like sunshine.
Jamie, please
No.
write down, don't you want to feel like a drunk bee? Because that's what we're calling this.
Reba says this, and Pohaku goes all thoughtful for a moment. He casts polymorph on himself to see if he can actually turn himself not just into a bee, but into a drunk bee.
Make an Arcana check.
Because this is what I do with 4th level spell slots or first thing in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
The correct thing to do.
Another nat 20. That is 26.
Burn them, baby. Yeah, like you focus on it. And you really, the way you think about polymorph is you're going, okay, I'm able to completely change the absolute structure of my body into something else, and it's a different brain chemistry, completely different organs that exist sometimes. Like you turn yourself into a fly that tastes with their damn feet. So as all this crosses your mind, you're going, how far can I take this changing of things? And you turn yourself into a bee, and there's the bee Pohaku buzzing around, and you are a drunk bee, and you're noticing this bee is it's not flying straight at all. Y'all kind of say it's kind of at this herky jerky angle every time it goes. It kind of just goes back up, and then
Oh my god, me next.
I turned to Boverus, and these are the smart ones, just so you're aware.
Yeah, I'm a whole 2 smarter than like a couple of days ago. So yeah, I am. I mean, it's true.
I'm still
Boverus
-1 smart.
is so delightfully amused by this. She's going, I'm not going to lie, this has been the most fun I've had in years.
Like a few minutes will go by. I'll come out of it. Oh,
How was it?
you know, I mean, mead, I've had it. It's okay, but from the perspective of a bee, it's amazing. Reba, that was, and I just give you a big kiss on the forehead. That was such a great idea.
I'm so glad, because like obviously I don't know what it's actually like to literally be a drunk bee, but it just sounded so good, and knowing that it is so good, like I don't know, it just makes me enjoy the world a bit more. Thank you for running that science experiment.
Fuck it. If we get into combat, we get into combat. I do it again, and I do it on Reba this time.
Fuck yes!
All right, I need you to make another Arcana check for this. The DC is much lower because you have done it once before. We're going to see if drunk bee specific gets added to the list of things you can polymorph into.
17.
Reba is now a drunk bee. I'm going to say with those two successes, Pohaku, if you want to turn yourself or anyone else into a drunk bee going forward with polymorph, that is an option for you.
Drunk bee party! Drunk bee party!
I will concentrate on that for the full hour or until somebody tells me to stop.
Reba is taking turns just like resting and just sort of like sideways rolling over and off and like just on different people's shoulders, just like
You guys, how do you feel about, I don't know, just staying here another day? It'll be fine, right? It'll be fine, right?
I mean,
What's the rush?
We should probably get going.
I mean, this was for science.
You don't need
Yeah.
your 4th level spell slots. You're fine.
We've got a lot of distance to cover if we're going to want to get down to Gizmopolis.
Well, unfortunately, I can't turn into a Quetzalcoatlus any longer today. Maybe
Why
tomorrow.
not?
And I just point over to Biba.
What happens if something? What happens if something hurts Biba in this mode?
You
Like-
wouldn't dare.
No, I'm seeing she's wee, and if she like gets rolled over on her,
She'll be back to Reba.
cool. I smack her.
Okay. Siobhan, make an unarmed attack roll.
Yeah, can I like dodge?
What's the
I mean,
you're
make it-
drunk.
Make a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage.
Okay,
Just roll 2d20s.
Wait.
Tell me what the worst result is.
as a bee.
Yeah.
I figure a
Look at
bee's
the
gonna
stats
have
of a
pretty
bee
good
right
dex.
now.
It's a bee's AC.
It's a tiny creature. It's got a huge armor class.
Yeah. Well, the worst roll was a 9.
The worst roll was a 9. Okay. The best I could find is in the wild beyond the Witchlight. I guess there's a creature called Panella the Honeybee. So we're going to use those stats. So you rolled a 9 on that dex save.
Mhm.
Awesome. That gives you a grand total of a 12. What'd you roll, Siobhan?
10. A 10 to hit.
You missed. You go and you swing at this bee, and Reba, you full on. You weren't trying to do a barrel roll. You were just trying to like fly upwards and out of the way.
Barrel roll.
But your honeybee body is not exactly what you'd call aerodynamic, so you kind of just stumble over in the air and inadvertently do a loop-de-loop around Siobhan's wrist when she's swinging at you. But
She's fucking drunken master powers.
Also,
exactly.
Biba is so extra delighted because, like, as you know, this big half orc, she is not Dexy. She is not like. Now she just feels even cooler. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so agile and tiny and flying and drunk.
Except you're a baby,
And-
so all you're thinking is.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, you have an intelligence of 1.
No, it's that vibe. You know, I just put the vibe into words, but the
Perfect.
bee only feels that vibe.
I turn to Siobhan, cross my arms over my chest. I'm not mad. I'm very disappointed.
Oh, buddy.
Bill, I'm glad you're having fun when two of us are trying to avenge our people and our fathers, respectively, but no, give me shit about being an asshole.
Where did this come from? I said you gave me a compliment yesterday.
Think about it! You've been a dick to me consistently, and nothing but, and I tried to be nice, and then you were just a dick again. I don't know if you lack self-awareness, but you're not very frickin' nice.
I saw that, Nathan.
Glad somebody did.
Ohaku looks at you and he okay. So Pohaku looks at you and you know what? All right. Turns, goes into his backpack, takes out the title belt, and just throws it at you. Fucking take it. Ever since, you have not let this go. I have been nice to everyone here.
You think
If
this is
this
why I'm
is
mad
really
at you?
making you so sore, take it. Champion.
You think this is why I'm mad at you? I don't care that you feckin' cheated. Everyone saw you cheated. We all
I
know I'm
walk
stronger
away.
than you. That's no, and I'm gonna go after him. It's like,
I continue to walk away.
Fine, I continue to follow him, running after him. I have brothers, I can be stubborn. Be like, no, I am mad at you because someone bullied me in front of you, and I called him out, and you sided with him. He made me cry. He hurt my feelings very badly. And you sided with him.
I continue to walk away. You can keep following if you choose. I will continue just walking.
Vovris will simply say to Siobhan, why don't we get some tea and some food in all of you before any of you decide what you're doing with your day?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to show my arse.
Seem like you're dealing with a lot. Sometimes emotions bubble up, but from what I've observed, and I know I don't know all of you well, that one cares. All of you care a lot. I can see it. I've seen a lot. I've seen life, death, pain, happiness. I have a confidant and sometimes lover who lives in his own hidden little hovel somewhere in these ever-changing and ever-shifting woods. That every time we're together, it's like no time has passed at all. But I see the new lines on his face. Even if it's only been a few months, I can see how the stress has aged him. But I can see how much he cares, and I see what he's lost. I see loss in all of you. It's all different, but you've all lost things. People, places, heritage, sense of self, sanity, maybe. She gestures her head at Mannix. Not fully sure what that one's on about.
No one knows.
We'll be keeping it that way.
Back off, you're not there.
He's always there.
I'm always watching.
Wherever you all need to head next, if I can do anything to be of assistance in that, I will. Like I said, have something to eat. You're kind enough to offer this tea, and I will be thrilled to help brew up some more. And once you are fed and awake, I will help you all get on down the road. And that is where we'll put a pin in this, as you all will pick up on this next day of adventuring to see if you all do in fact head further into the Whispering Wood. And who knows, Vovris may have some abilities to help you there. But if nothing else, we now know what it's like to be a drunk bee, which is now a sentence that's been said in the real world. I look forward to see what else the Whispering Woods has for you and how long it'll be till you reach the nation of Glimmershore. But that's for then, and we'll get to see what chaos awaits.